There is a boat, a tiny boat, that sails on the raging sea.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Making Music Podcast. I'm Becky Syson.
And I'm Lauren South.
Hi, and thanks for joining us. We are on episode 5 today, and we are talking about imposter syndrome.
It's a big one.
Oh, I think they all have been, but this one, last time we were talking about performing live, so we thought this leads in really nicely to imposter syndrome, which we all get at some point, for sure. And I'm just going to use my phone a second because on here I've got the Musicians Union website, and I'll give you a little quote. It says, imposter syndrome affects 62% of people in the workplace and 2/3 of women at work, which I thought was interesting for us. But in the creative industry, that figure is much higher, and it actually can affect somewhere around 87%, which
Oh gosh,
isn't it staggering?
I didn't know that figure. My goodness me.
So, you know, if you're a musician, it probably affects you at some point. Yeah,
I think
definitely.
it's one of the things that goes hand in hand with being creative is that it's very difficult to measure, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I
it
think
is.
that's where the doubts can creep in. It's not like you've got boxes that you can tick necessarily.
No, we're out of the box. We're on our own.
Yeah.
Doing our thing.
And you know, that's with any art form, really, any kind
It
of
is.
form of creative activity, is that it's always a little trickier to pin down. Do you think that's fair
I
to say?
think definitely, because I think particularly when you're creating something original, so like you say, whether it's an original piece of artwork, dance, and songs for us performing them, it's a massive thing because obviously it's very personal to you. And as musicians and perhaps creative beings, we can fall into this perfectionist trap. Do you know what I mean? This like, oh, it's got to be just right before I share it. I've got to finish this before I share it. It's got to be this before I share it. But actually, in reality, I don't think anything's ever perfect. And I think we've kind of got to let that go a little bit. I've kind of learnt over the years that it can kind of hold us back. And
Definitely.
I should probably say what imposter syndrome means, by the way, shouldn't I? I forgot to do that. If you haven't heard of it before, it's something that can affect everybody, so you're not alone, and across lots of different work platforms, lots of things, but obviously particularly the creative industry. And it's basically that feeling of self-doubt, that feeling of being a fraud. You suddenly start to think, oh, I'm not good enough. It's very mental health kind of thing, and it will affect us all at some point. So yeah, I mean, can you recall any times when you've recently felt this, Lauren? I mean, I feel like it kind of comes and goes.
Yeah, that's how it goes with me, is that sometimes I'm like, yeah, I can do this, and I'm doing it, and you know, positive things are coming from it, therefore
yes,
brilliant. But really for me, it only takes one little knockback.
And
if I'm not careful, it's that whole thing of we kind of automatically forget all the good things, and we focus in, if we're not careful, on those few little more negative experiences or comments or whatever they might be.
Yeah, sadly, we're wired. We're wired that way.
We are wired up.
Humans are.
And so I think it's something I've started doing recently to kind of try and combat it, is to try and remember more all the positives. You know, it's kind of like a case of actually thinking, okay, I've had that brilliant experience and that brilliant gig or that brilliant comment or that lovely thing happen. I'm gonna write it down somewhere.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
if
if
I'm
you
feeling a
remember.
little bit wobbly,
Mm,
I can look and I think, actually, God, I did all this
mm,
because we're very good. Anything like me, I'll forget all the good things
yeah.
and I will just focus in on the, oh no, kind of.
Yeah, that person said this, and then that,
Yeah,
you do. I think we're very much wired as humans to focus on the negatives. I think apparently our brain is always trying to fix things, and I guess it's trying to shelter us from any of those negative things by kind of focusing in on that kind of it sort of goes against us, really, doesn't it? And it kind of protects you and tries to keep you safe,
yeah,
but
yeah,
actually we
yeah.
shouldn't believe these things. And like you said, that's a
Well,
really good idea. Yeah,
it's a
have it
tricky
somewhere.
balance. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
tricky balance because it is a defense
Mm. Yeah.
mechanism. Yeah.
Yeah.
But equally, like you say, it can also, if we're not careful, it can be a
Mm.
barrier that we put up for ourselves.
Yeah.
Nobody else is putting anything up. This is, it's kind of like a self-sabotaging thing
Yes. Yes. Very much
happens.
so.
And I mean, all artists, everyone goes through those ups
Absolutely.
and those downs.
Yeah.
But certainly for me, it's been really useful having a way, just something to look at.
Mm.
And even looking back at photos of past gigs and
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, actually, that was really good.
See, I
And
can do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that, exactly that. So that's a really nice way, and also remembering the feeling, because if you can then recreate that before your next performance, it's kind of all about putting the shoes on or putting the hat on, putting
Yeah.
that persona on,
Yeah. Definitely.
and thinking, okay, here we are. This is it. We're doing it again.
We're doing it again, and I can do
Yeah.
this. Yeah, absolutely. And I was thinking actually before when you were just chatting then about like the whole actors, what they must go through, and musicians such as opera singers and things, and musical show theatre, because they have to go through a whole audition process. And I do remember reading lots and lots, and they're saying you get rejected and rejected and rejected and rejected, and
Yeah.
how much of that imposter syndrome must they feel from that? And it's not necessarily to say that they are a bad actor or a bad performer. They're probably
Yeah.
amazing, but there's just such a number of other people, or maybe they already had
Yeah.
earmarked somebody in particular for that role. So it just shows how we we have got such a competitive world, but we kind of need to stop comparing ourselves to other people as well. Do you fall into that trap sometimes? And that again can self-sabotage you because you think,
Mm.
oh, that person's doing that and I'm not doing that, or I'm not very good
Yeah.
at that, or they're so much better than me. We've it's
Yeah.
we're all different. We're all so
We
different, and it's
are.
taken me a long time to sort of be like, okay,
Yeah.
they might be really good at that, but equally, I'm better
Mm.
at this. So,
Yes.
we're all different. Try not to compare yourself
Yeah.
too much to other people because
Well,
inevitably
no,
we're
because
going to
at
be
the end of the
different.
day, we don't want to be the same as
No,
other musicians
no,
and
it would
other
be
artists.
boring, wouldn't it?
We want to be genuinely coming from us, and that's
Yes,
that originality and
yes,
that thing that you've got, actually, that nobody else, if you are truly you,
yeah,
nobody else has got that. And
yes.
that's a really good thing to be kind of trying to remember,
Focusing
is that
in on,
actually no one else is you. So
yeah,
as long as you're not trying to be something that you're not, it's very, very often nothing to do with talent or the songs or anything else. It's other stuff that is completely outside of your
yeah.
control.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, definitely. And I was doing a little bit of research about this particular topic before chatting, because I thought, oh, I wonder who else sort of experiences it and stuff. And honestly,
Mm.
there's so many famous people. Apparently, Lady Gaga, even like these amazing people. They're so famous that you think, oh, they'll never experience
Yeah,
that. They have all experienced this feeling of
yeah,
self doubt. I think it's a really interesting topic because it's not only relates to music, but it also relates to your life in general, doesn't it? So I think we're going to go through in a minute of some tips and things that and tricks that can maybe help you get through it, because I think they actually will help you on your everyday life as well. Don't know if you
Oh
that.
yeah, I mean, none of it is just applying to songwriting and performing. It's a much bigger subject,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. And it's not like we're experts here, guys. If you're really,
No.
really struggling, go and seek some help. But we're just here to we're just two ordinary people that, have dealt with this in our own way. And we've just maybe got a few other ways of thinking about things that might just help you in your everyday life, really. So, yeah. But what's the one thing other than, remembering the facts, like you say, and the positive facts, is there any other little tips that you particularly find, if you can feel that feeling, that self-doubt creeping in, Lauren, is there anything
So I
that you're
think,
like, you go to, or is there anything that you've changed the
yeah.
way you're like, hang on a minute, stop it, and
Yeah, it's a really
reset?
tough thing. I think it is always nice to think that actually it's you're not on your own, and that all these
Mm,
amazing other people have very, very similar experiences at some point or other.
yeah.
And I think, to be honest with you, we wouldn't be human if we didn't, or at least we'd have a very overinflated ego if we didn't get affected by
Yes.
these things. So that's
We might
one
not be
thing
very likable at all.
to come back to. And I guess it depends on what situation you're in when those
Mm,
little niggles start to creep in.
mm.
Some people will get more of the performance anxiety
Yes.
at the actual time
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
playing and
Yeah.
singing and performing whatever else. Um, some people will actually get it behind the scenes.
Mm.
So if you're booking, you're wanting to maybe book a gig, or you're
Yeah.
wanting to go out and sing somewhere, but all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, actually, no. I mean, I've got to places
Yeah.
before. I've been really looking forward to playing a few years ago, and there've been people on before me, and I've thought, I can't. I mean, I've done it with you before.
Yeah. Yeah. You
I
have. You're like,
can't
I
follow
can't do
that.
this. I can't do.
I can't follow that. No, no, I'll
Oh
go
no, you can. You
first. You know,
can.
um, and it's a really funny thing to deal with. But what I do always come back to is thinking, okay, you know what? Just be you, because
Yes.
actually nobody else is. It's that whole original thing.
Yeah.
Nobody else is being you.
Yeah.
Nobody else has got your songs,
Yeah.
or your style, or your way of doing things. And so it really comes down to those little tiny seeds of
Mm.
trusting yourself,
Yeah.
trusting
Having the
yourself.
confidence in who you are.
Yeah,
That's the biggie. Yeah.
it is. What about you?
I think very much like you say, just kind of what I try and do is sometimes talk to myself like I would do a friend, rather than, because
Oh,
I
nice.
just think that if you are talking to a friend, you're always like, you've got their back. You're like, you're their little cheerleader, aren't you? And you are just
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can do this. You're giving them the support, encouragement, because you know that they can do it. The
Mm,
facts are all there. And so that can be a real simple trick, that just talk to yourself like a friend if you really are struggling with your sort of self-confidence kind of thing. Um, and then, yeah, and just kind of just remember, as Lauren said, the good things and all the things that stack in your favor, because quite often these things can just creep in like way down the line. So we've been doing this for a while now, and
mm,
still you're like, oh no, I don't know though, actually. And then you just step back a minute, look at the bigger picture. Well, I've played this many gigs, and I've and that many audiences, and they've all, like, remember the good reviews, like you say, look at the photos, the
yeah.
evidence is there, you can do this. You might just
Mm,
be having a little wobble, something might have,
yeah.
something can, sometimes just things can upset you in everyday life as well, can't they? And you just might be feeling a little bit vulnerable,
Yeah.
um
And
so
that's tough, especially
that
when you're
is.
sharing your own,
Mm,
some
yeah.
things are really personal, and it's
Yes.
already often a
Raw,
tricky
maybe.
concept
Yeah.
to think,
Yeah.
gosh, I'm sharing these songs and they're from me. They know.
Yes. Yeah.
But I do think there's an element, and I think you're pretty good at doing this.
Oh.
There's an element of feeling the fear and just doing it anyway.
Yeah, I do tend to do. I've got
Yeah,
better at
which I
that.
really admire, and I try and take some of that on board, because I will always go the opposite and think, oh no, I might not.
Sort of like kind of like hiding in your shell a bit, isn't it? Sometimes, and
Yeah.
I think,
But somebody
yeah.
somebody once said to me, and it's really stuck with me,
Oh
for the
yes, share this.
performance anxiety side of it. So if
Mm.
you are about to go on and you're,
Just like,
not feeling,
yeah, because it
and
can be
let's face
really,
it,
it's
those
horrible, isn't it?
physical symptoms that we can sometimes get, especially if you're a singer or if you're trying to play something and your muscles are doing things that they don't
Yeah,
normally do,
yeah,
you instantly, you're holding your instrument in a way that you don't normally hold it. And you also have tension that you might
yeah,
not necessarily always have.
yeah.
But is the idea of flipping. So instead of seeing those physical symptoms or those
Bad thing.
physical happenings as a bad thing,
Yeah.
think of it as internal applause, right? So your body is
Oh,
literally cheering you
come
on.
on, Lauren.
I know. It's like, yes, you can do it. And even just those little subtle shifts in mindset
Yes, it's
can
a
make
big thing.
a really big difference to the way that you're feeling.
Yeah,
And taking responsibility and thinking, okay, this is happening,
my body's
but
reacting, but I'm in
yeah,
charge.
yeah. But it's actually often it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I've had conversations with other performers
Mm.
on the folk circuit before, about, to not put too fine a point on it, about how some people will deliberately need to use the toilet a little bit before they go on stage, because it makes them, if they're not nervous, they kind of need some kind of
Yeah,
urgency.
yeah, yeah, I get
Um,
it.
and I've heard from other people, I don't necessarily do this, but some people, they
I've got the
need a
giggles
little
now.
bit of, like,
Yeah,
kick yourself
yeah,
into gear sort of thing.
definitely. And like we said, I think in the last episode we were talking about nerves and how if you're not nervous, then it wouldn't mean that much to you. You wouldn't be bothered. So all these signals in our body getting ready. Oh, we're getting ready. We're getting ready to perform. It's almost
Mm,
like a racing car driver is getting ready to
yeah.
go on, and
Yeah.
do the race.
And definitely, as you go on and as you get more experienced and as you do it more and more,
Mm,
you do find, or I certainly find, that
mm.
really sometimes I I don't feel nervous enough.
Oh, there
So,
we go.
like, I feel like, well, I should have some adrenaline,
Yeah,
because usually that helps with everything.
it can do. Yeah, like stress does kind of, it can be a
Mm.
good thing, can't it? Because obviously if we had
Well,
no stress,
a
then it doesn't
little
push
bit,
us,
a
you know.
little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't class it really as stress anymore. It is excitement. It is
Mm.
kind of like,
Bubbly,
let's get
happy
going sort of
butterflies.
thing.
Yeah. But no, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool that you should say that I'm quite good at just just doing it anyway. Feel the fear
yeah.
and go for it head on.
Well,
But
the other
I'm
thing, oh,
sorry.
sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say I think I have. I do feel like I'm just not that bothered about what people think that much either. Like, I'm just like, I'm just me. Like,
Yeah.
this is who I am. I can't be
Mm.
anybody else. So if you don't like it, then you don't like it. That's
And that's
fine.
all part of
That's it
self-acceptance,
can't
isn't it?
really. I suppose
Yeah.
that is what it is yeah, self-acceptance.
But to come back to your perfectionism thing,
Yeah,
I think the other thing is, we are always our own worst critics, aren't
we are
we?
absolutely, yeah.
And something that I try and think of, which a previous teacher, one of my way back in childhood
Yeah.
teachers, used
Okay.
to say, look at all the politicians. How good are they at their jobs?
That's a hard one to
Not
say at the moment.
very.
They're just
No, but the mess ups, the massive mess
oh
ups
my
that
God.
occur,
Yeah.
right? And then you think so it's kind of like zooming out and looking at it, giving it some perspective.
A wider lens.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get at, I think. And this is what she was trying to get at,
Yeah.
was that you don't have to be top of your game
Of course you
all
don't.
of the time.
No, nobody,
You know,
nobody is. We're constantly changing as well, aren't we? Constantly changing as
yeah,
people, as
yeah,
musicians. Your style's changing all the time. Your songwriting changes all the
yeah.
time. And yeah, so just
Mm.
try if you can and move away from the perfectionism, because it will just stop you from sharing. And I don't know about you, but I like, art wise, I love like a loose sketch, like a half unfinished painting. I really actually quite like looking at artwork like that. I like looking in people's sketchbooks when they're like, oh look, it's just the sprinkle of the ideas are coming out.
Mm.
But if they just never shared any of that, then think of all the beauty that we would have missed. You know, like
Yes,
nature isn't
exactly. Life would
perfect,
be a
is
bit
it?
boring, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Life would be, no, no, not at all.
So,
And then the other thing I've just remembered, the
yeah,
other thing that I will often tell, you were saying speaking to yourself like a friend.
kindly.
I'll
Yeah,
often
yeah.
tell myself if I'm just about to go on somewhere and I am feeling a bit like oof about it, which
Okay.
I tend to get when I play solo because I've been very used to
Yeah,
playing with other
you
people.
have admitted that, haven't you? Yeah. That,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is that I try and think to myself, well, most of the people here, unless you're a child who's been dragged there, kicking and screaming, most of the people here have actually come to
to
see
see
you
you. Yeah,
and the others and
exactly.
to listen to music. So it's that whole kind of like flipping it
You're
again and thinking,
reframing it,
well,
aren't
they
you?
actually
Yeah.
want to listen. They're
Yeah.
not here just
They're
under
not, no,
duress.
they're not going to throw tomatoes or anything. They want to
No.
have a good time and they want to hear you at your best. So
Yes,
yeah,
and
so you can
especially
feel that.
if an audience have come to an evening of live music,
Yeah.
they're basically, unless it's a massive covers gig in a pub or something,
Yeah.
they've come to hear live music that you've
Yeah.
created.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
And
So
that's the other thing that I
the
often,
ideal audience.
yeah, but I'll often gloss over that if I'm not careful. I
Yeah,
need to
you
kind of
forget
keep it
that.
at
You
the
need to keep
forefront of
that.
my
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good way of thinking about it. Just remembering that people are there for you. And like
Yeah.
everybody's cheering you on, really. Nobody wants to see, because it's horrible, isn't it, when you think yourself, like if you see anybody hurting or failing, it's not nice to witness. People in general, we do want
Yeah.
everybody to be happy, and in, in a good spirits. So we've just kind of got to get over this, like it's almost like a fear of failure to some degree as well, isn't it? Like we don't want to, sometimes that can stop us from doing stuff as well, just thinking, oh, we're going to get this wrong or we're going to mess it up. So you've got to try and go down the right thought path almost, haven't you? Because
Yes.
the more
Yes.
you lean into this imposter syndrome, self-doubt thing, the further down that road you're going to go. So you've just got to kind of like find a little turn off, like you say, with focusing on something positive, and then
Yeah.
lead yourself down, a nice road.
Yeah.
Why I
And I
decided to
think
talk about.
another thing that helps some people is to actually do so pre-performance.
Oh
Um,
yes.
is
Yeah.
to actually visualize yourself in that moment, how it's feeling, how it's going.
Yeah.
So you're rehearsing in advance. And something I like to do, if I can, I mean, it's not always possible, and I find that everything feels better if I've had the time to actually be in the space that I'm going to be performing in, rather than, getting there
Rushing.
and you go
Yeah.
on straight away and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I feel different because I'm
Yeah.
here and I'm not used to the room, or I'm not used to the
Yeah.
stage,
Yeah.
or that light's shining in my eye. I
Yeah.
have a really big thing about lights shining in my face.
Yeah.
All those little things. So
Yeah.
do as much as you can, I think, before a performance.
Yeah.
I'm well known for actually going overboard and getting to places
You're
really
very, very
early.
organized.
But what I love to do is to just settle myself into the space,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
just in the sound check.
Yeah. That's a really
Um,
good advice. That. Yeah.
yeah. I find
Yeah.
that really helps to kind of just settle me in.
Settle you down. Yeah. Feel the ground underneath your feet almost. See where you are, sense everything, get the
Yeah.
environment. Yeah, settle in. That's a really good thing. And the whole of visualization thing, that's
Mm.
a great thing because obviously loads of people use that, don't they? From
Yeah.
athletics, individuals, if you just take a couple of minutes just to
Mm.
sort of see it happening, get yourself in the room, feel how the connection is building with the audience, go through it in your mind because your mind doesn't know
Totally.
what's real and what's not. So that's going to set you up
Yeah.
for a good performance.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. And
Yeah.
in one of the groups that I co-run, we
Oh
talk a
yeah.
lot about this kind of thing.
Hmm.
And we were talking recently about how actually it's really good to remember that not a lot of people can do what we do in terms of writing, playing, performing. Not a lot of people are doing it.
No.
So that's another thing is that actually just give yourself some credit,
Have a go.
you know, for what you're doing at whatever stage in the journey you are. I mean, we're at the stage we're at.
Yep.
Obviously, there are people who are way further on, and there are people who are just starting. But wherever you are, I think it's important to give yourself the credit that actually
You
you are
deserve.
doing something that not all people are doing.
I've got a quote actually. Do you want to hear this
Oh,
quote?
go on.
It's one of those unknown authors. I'm always like, I feel slightly
Oh,
disappointed when I don't know who wrote a quote because I think, oh,
yeah,
I love it. I really want to say thank you for that quote. But it just ties in well with this. It says,
yeah.
if you fail, congratulations. Most people don't even try. And I thought
Mm.
that is so true, isn't it? So
That's a lovely one.
don't worry, like if you
Yeah.
fail, you fail. Just give yourself a clap because, if like I say, yeah, most people don't even try. And like you say, there's not many people in the world actually that are doing this.
No, and you know, we
It's
all
cool.
have those times on stage where you think,
Mm.
oh, I shouldn't have done that, or oh, you know, that didn't go the way I wanted it to go. But actually, you've got to go through those
Yeah,
experiences to learn almost
all
what
the
not to
time.
do.
Yeah,
You've
yeah, you
got to
have got to.
experience.
You've got
You know,
to.
we can't just go from 0 to 100 straight away.
No,
Most of
no.
us can't anyway. I mean, there are some people who are just seem to be able to do it very naturally. But yeah, and what a lovely quote. I think
It
that's
is. I
really
just think that's really lovely. I wrote it in my art journal because I was like, oh, yeah,
yeah.
I love that. We just got to remember
Mm,
sometimes that don't let the fear stop you because
mm,
this is why we when we decided we're going to do a podcast, we were writing a few ideas down, weren't we, of what we want to talk about. And
yeah.
this was definitely up there for both of us because I just think it is so important for people to know that they're not alone and that we all get this feeling at any point, but we don't want to let it stop us. It just
No,
makes
and
me
I think
sad
that's where
if people if it would stop them,
I think that's where
sharing.
community really comes in. The music
Mm,
community itself really comes in.
actually,
You
it's a
know,
lovely. Yeah, that's
go
true. It's a
out and
lovely
find
community.
people who are singing and playing and
Yeah,
doing whatever,
yeah,
and just connect because that really is the best way is just to be sharing and talking about all
definitely. Yeah.
these things.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. It, like I said, even if it's open mic nights, jam sessions, you go away. It's funny, isn't it? You know, quite often, even if I'm just singing at home, music, you might start off feeling a bit, not that great. But when you go and perform and sing, especially with other people, you come away lifted, don't you? You really come
Yeah,
away lifted up in
yeah.
spirits. There's just something about it. So, I mean, if you are feeling this imposter syndrome, just please don't let it stop you. Just
Mm.
get out there, keep doing it, and eventually you'll be able to just,
Yeah.
won't you?
Yeah. And I think it's really, you know, if you can get to play with other people When you're feeling like, oh, a little bit wobbly on your own,
That's
just go
true.
and
Go
jam
with
and
some, yes,
collaborate. There's
yes.
always a way round it.
Yeah,
Always a
that's
way
true.
round it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you don't have to do your own stuff all
No,
the time,
no,
and you don't have to play on your own either. There will always be people
yeah. There's lots of
out
options,
there.
isn't there? Yeah,
Yeah, there are lots of
that's a
options.
really important thing to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done. Let me just have a think if there's anything else that we haven't covered. I think we've covered most of it though, haven't we?
I think so. We've chatted for quite a while on all of
Oh, we
that.
have. Yeah,
But I find it really useful, just to
I
cement
do.
in all these.
I'm going to rewatch this episode whenever
Yeah,
I'm feeling a little bit like
that's what we can
self-doubty.
do. Brilliant.
Self-therapy. But
Yeah.
the other thing I've got here is I've written this down, so I might as well tell you guys. It says, remember, no one is perfect. As humans, we are constantly changing, growing, and adapting. So always make room and give yourself room to improve and learn. Feel the fear and just do it anyway. So
Yeah.
go for it, guys. I've got your back. If you ever need me to like cheer you on, just let me know. I love it. Yeah. So I think that's about it, isn't there? But there's lots. If you do need any more advice or help, obviously, like we say, seek professional help. There is loads out there on the internet as well. Like I say, the Musicians Union, they've got some really, if you don't already know about the Musicians Union, that's really great for musicians. They've got all sorts of advice actually on mental health and things. They have like a weekly meditation and some other sort of things that you can get involved in online. And I keep meaning to do that myself. Have you done it yet?
No, but I think I probably should now that it's
I'm like,
in the front of my mind. In the front of my mind.
So yeah.
But yeah, also if anybody out there has got any subjects or topics that they would particularly like us to have a little chat about, then please do send us a comment or an email or find us on socials.
Yeah, come and join the community.
Because we would be happy. Yeah, we'd be really happy to extend the conversations.
Yeah, because we're friends anyway, aren't we? So we're always chatting. So it's nice to kind of talk about these music things, because we've said before, haven't we? Because we're like we work from home, obviously when we're not gigging. It's almost like we're musician co-worker friends, even though we live in different places, because so it's so nice just having Lauren that knows what all the ins and outs of making music, of everything I've got to do in daily life. It's just so nice, isn't it, to have
just fellow musicians, and that's the whole reason behind the podcast, isn't it, really?
Definitely.
Is to just
you're not on your own.
Exactly.
Yeah, so if there's anything you want us to cover, give us a shout. But thank you so much, and we look forward to the next episode. Yay! Cool. Bye, guys.